Aventus enables businesses to create a seamless buying experience for any insurance line in any digital environment at startup speed. The Aventus AI platform bridges the gap between legacy systems and insurance in the digital age. Today, Aventus will showcase the key to the platform, an API strategy, focusing on first and third-party data passing and augmentation, to make it easier to pre-populate answers and assist in assessment of policy ratings. Next on stage, Aventus.
Hey, my name is Peter Goodman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Aventus. In my last venture, we managed to build the world's largest Facebook ads API, to which we sold ultimately to Salesforce back in 2012. And so now I'm wonderfully in the world of insurance, trying to activate APIs for everyone in the room. So at Aventus, we are enabling APIs essentially to improve the customer journey, because so often data that sits within different areas within businesses is not leveraged to its true potential to make certain things like buy flow shorter. So we currently work with insurance companies and digital distributors to ensure that you leverage everything that you have to make sure that your acquisition costs can go down as small as possible. One area that we feel, and personally I feel slightly aggrieved by, is the digital bank assurance journey that currently exists. It's an amazing experience in the UK when it takes you about 15 minutes to log into a high street banking app, and then ultimately you go click on something like home insurance and it asks you your name. It's like, how on earth do you not know my name? I'm in your branch on the phone. And it staggers me that this practice goes on quite far. The key for me, if you consider the way that happens in an analog world, it's quite comical. You know, you walk into your branch, you sit there, you've done your cash withdrawal or paid in a check in the old school, and then ultimately you say, well, just before I leave, I'd like to buy some home insurance, or just at least get a quote. And what they say is, of course, you know, we're your bank, we sell insurance to you, of course we do. But if you'd like to go out of the store, go left, go over the roundabout, through the traffic lights, there's a building with our name on it, but it's not really us. It's a redirect out, and then they'll ask you your name and you'll have to start the entire process again. And for me, that's just unacceptable now in the digital age that we're in, especially with the emergence of the digital banks. So what I'd like to show today is ultimately just an example. We've built a mock bank, which is not an easy thing to do in a short period of time, and actually walk you through how we see data via APIs being used to demonstrate bank assurance, as it should be. So yeah, so ultimately we've created any bank, which is obviously there for a reason, because this could be any bank. And ultimately, I want to just walk you through how we see data being transferred between the bank and the insurance company in order to leverage APIs for the greater good of customer journeys. So as you log in, you can obviously see this is obviously a very generic makeup of a concept. But what we want to now do is I'm just going to switch to a business account and open one. Now, obviously, we're missing a few AML checks in this setup process. Otherwise, we'd be here a little bit too long. So bear with that. Before anyone tweets, there's no AML check in any bank. Any bank's not real, by the way. So when you come into here, the key here is as you fill out the limited company. So let's just do this really quick. Now, a lot of the new banks go out and use APIs themselves to go and extract information from things like Companies House in the UK. So when you confirm this up, the key here, as you open your bank account, you'll see the information. So I want to open it up. Obviously, again, a much shortened journey. But we are creating via APIs something that we call at Aventus insurance moments. Now, for me, an insurance moment is probably the most optimum time that you could sell an insurance to a consumer or a company. It's a time when insurance is really required, but timeliness in terms of actually leveraging data points and APIs is something that I feel, and we've certainly seen, cost per acquisitions go down dramatically. So of course I would like professional indemnity insurance. In order to trade in the UK, you need certain levels of insurance. So what better time to do it, or offer it at least, at the point of the bank setup. So if I say I would like it, you can then go through the process. Now, again, the onus is on the buyer to confirm information. But if you have that information around the buyer, why not pre-populate it and post it back to them? And if they need to change it, change it. But for me, this is about shortening question sets, shortening journeys in order for me to buy something that I want to buy. And I'm happy to share my data with a third party because it saves me time. So if I confirm the purchase. The one thing that we're really proud of as well, we don't just do buying journeys. All of our documents are available via API as well. So you can immediately see documents in a third-party environment. Instead of it just being a PDF download via an external link, this is the way to actually keep information within an actual sort of third-party environment. So you'll see then that the documents will appear via API. So I'm going to quickly switch back to personal, because this is an example where what we would call an insurance moment. And this is something that is more than achievable if you're willing to use APIs to deliver bank assurance. So this is an example of a home insurance. I've already got home insurance in this example, so we're going to use it to demonstrate how an MTA could be delivered, given the amount of data that a bank has about yourself. So policy documents, as I said, are all again, available via API. We make sure that our documents are fully searchable. So if you want to use these dynamic documents in order to create on-the-fly docs, you don't have to reissue documents when they're in an API. What you can do is you can add parts to it, and then they automatically refresh instead of having to continually resend or repost. I mean, the postage cost of insurance, I don't know if anyone's actually got a statistic on how much money is spent on postage, but I'd love to find it. So if we then go back into this example, we'll go back into the spending, and then I'm going to just simulate the acquisition of a Rolex. Obviously slightly indulgent, had a good day, so therefore I feel like it's time to buy a Rolex. So within my bank, we simulate the purchase of a Rolex. So then the bank should then automatically identify that's a high value item, and you can use these through marketing triggers. You know, you get push notifications when you spend £10 or €10 in a shop, so that notification is already available in these apps. What you can do with that though is start to look at adding cover. So this is a real API call to a set of rates that we have already built into the Aventus platform. So it's an Aventus API call, hence the reason it's taking a little while. It's actually real. And then it'll identify that as a jewelry item, and it will then demonstrate to you the price that comes out to add that as an MTA. So if I therefore want to just add that in terms of adding it, I can confirm that purchase, the money will come out of the bank, and off we go. So then, when you look here again, you can then go into your account, look at the policy documents, and instead of reissuing them, we can just add it. You'll see additional elements in there. So as you take out here, you can see now there that the Rolex has been added outside of the home, which wasn't there before. So via the API, we were able to push information into documents without having to reissue them. And then just one more example, because I'm now acutely aware that at the time, is if we simulate a GoPro purchase. This is just a good example, in my opinion, of something that insurers never communicate with you unless you're trying to buy something or you're trying to claim on something. So if you look at adding this, why not say that it's already covered? The policy information and documentation will already be there, and therefore why not explain to the customer, it's okay, you're already covered on the policy that you have. And that can only be achieved if you have fluid data passing via APIs. And so to conclude, which is I believe personally that the future of connectivity between the older insurance world and the new digital distribution has to be around API enablement. So if you're working on a strategy, which I know everyone is, because that's how everyone says whenever we do meetings, we're working on our API strategy, then give us a call or come and see us at the booth, because we can certainly help enable that. So I'm Peter Goodman, and I would like to thank you again for listening to me. Thank you.